Hey folks, Rob Fenwick from ICM Services here. Today we're going to take a nice little tour of the Revell Ford Collision Center. There we are. Revell's been here since 1936. And if you can imagine, that's not a whole lot less than what Ford has been here for. And Revell's is one of the original dealerships in Ontario and one of the oldest in Canada. And you'd never know it by the front of the building here because of course they've done a big renovation on it and it looks fabulous. Brand new showroom, drive-through service, all kinds of great features. And they have a collision center that's got a fabulous reputation, and we're going to take you for a tour of it. So let's head in and see Bob Steed. She was hot today in here with Bob, I'll tell you. It's a hot day, but Bob's going to give me a tour no matter what. He says, come on in and see me, 32 degrees inside or not. Let's get her done. Okay, here we are, folks. It's on the north side of the building at Revell Ford Collision Center. And these folks have been in business for a very long time, and they've got some of the most experienced body men and one of the most experienced body shop managers going. So we're going to go in and say hello to Bob here. There we are. Ooh, where's Bob? Oh, I'll get the Bob Steed Collision Center manager. There's Bob. How you doing? Fun?
Very good, Rob.
Nice to see you. Always good. Always good to see you, Bob.
Nice to see you.
Now, Bob, you've been doing this forever, have you not?
I have.
How many years? Like?
Pretty much been in the industry for 30 years now.
30 years. That's amazing. You know, it's quite an industry. I know there's a lot of turnaround and so on. It's nice to meet somebody that has done it for so long. So this is your setup here, and you're all computerized and all that good stuff, but you're going to show me where the real work is done.
Let's see, yeah.
Let's go for a tour.
You betcha. Well, this, of course, is the shop and the bays we have available. One of the nice things that we have here at Revell is we have hoists in most of our bays.
Oh, yeah.
How that's helpful, I mean, it's good for the men. Anything that helps them work faster gets a car in and out of here faster. So a simple thing like a hoist to move a car up so you're working at level doesn't seem like much, but it's actually something that makes the job a lot easier.
Oh, sure. I see. This one looks like it's almost portable, is it not?
This one is portable.
Is it? Well, that's great.
Yeah, this one is portable.
So, yeah, I didn't realize, my goodness, you've got room for a multitude of vehicles. You even have room for one more in here if you really needed to.
We usually do have one at the center.
That's great. Again. Alrighty, Bob. Show me this rack you've got here you've been telling me about.
You betcha.
Oh, pretty slick.
We just got done. This is the Magma Rack 3. Most shops have a pulling outfit like this. Makes it convenient for the technician to work on your vehicle. You can pull unibodies, you can pull frames with them. Just makes the job so much easier, and you know you're getting things back to a factory specification, which everybody expects and deserves.
That's right. It looks like it moves. It's got gears or something in it.
It does. Actually, the pulling heads move 360 degrees around the vehicle. You can pull in different directions at the same time.
Oh, so this rolls all the way around.
If we needed to pull multiple, if we need to pull this way while we were pulling that way, we could do it. Huh. If we needed to pull a back corner while we were pulling a front corner, we can do it all at the same time.
Isn't that impressive? That's really cool. I mean, that's not something that everybody has. My Lord, that's really neat. That's really neat. And actually, it's funny, we were talking earlier there, and we were saying that even though you're the Revell Ford Collision Center, you obviously aren't doing just Ford product here.
Actually, you know, it's funny, you know, today, there's a Chevrolet, that's a Dodge, 2 Kias, Mazda with the front hit, Volkswagen, and of course you'll see later, well, we've got a Ford, and we've got a Buick in the spray booth. So I mean, yes, we predominantly do Fords, because of the, you know, the badge out front, but we do everything.
That's fabulous. That's great. Oh, you've got some, what are you showing me here, Bob?
This is our measuring equipment that ties in with the bench. You can pull, but unless you know how far you're pulling, which direction you're pulling, it's computerized. All the frame dimensions are in for most vehicles. It just helps the technician bring the car back to a pre-accident condition.
Wow.
It can detect much more than what a man with a tape measure or a tram measuring system can do.
Oh yeah, I suppose it would.
And it's just one touch. It's not hard to set up. You move it in, you get it back.
Well, I've been in here before, and you know, to be honest with you, I didn't know what this was, so that's great. And that brings it right back to spec.
Right back to spec.
That's impressive. Oh, whoa, what do you got here?
Spray bake, downdraft spray booth.
Spray bake. Oh, it looks like you got a...
Again, most progressive shops have a booth like this. You bring air in from the outside, you heat it, clean it, bring it in through the upper filters. It actually envelopes the car and leaves through the bottom where it's washed and returned. So anything that we're using inside this area is cleaned before we return it back.
Isn't that great? So there's no contaminants, no moisture,
yeah.
no... And dust. Dust is a big problem. You don't have that issue at all now.
And this vehicle isn't up on it, but again, there's a hoist underneath.
There's a hoist underneath here?
Yeah, so if we need to paint the lower because the car was hit in the side, all the painter has to do is move it up.
Isn't that great?
He can paint the lower portion of the car. You get good coverage, and that's what paint's for.
That's right. Well, I didn't realize there was a hoist down there. Isn't that great? Well, thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'm not an employee, but temporarily today I am. All right, Bob. This is obviously your paint room.
This is the paint room where the painters work. We are using waterborne paint, which is a terrible name for it because there's absolutely no water in it. Just a name. It's misleading. But the good thing is, Revell's was the first in this area to buy into the waterborne thing when everybody was hedging and pulling back, and we're still using it today.
Isn't that great?
All our paint is guaranteed, as is most products used in a collision center today. But any color that you need, it's all here.
Isn't that wild? There's a lot of colors here.
There's a lot of colors.
My goodness. And what I can't get over is that, I mean, I'm not completely new to the body shop world. I've visited a lot of body shops in my day, but I wouldn't know where to begin with all this. And I imagine you've got to have a computer to figure this stuff out too.
Of course, everybody has a computer nowadays, and that's where all the information is coming from.
Wow.
It's brought on daily. We get information daily on what color changes have come up, what variants have been put in. Whatever the factory does on the floor yesterday is in here today.
Isn't that great?
So if they change it, we get the change.
Isn't that amazing? So you're right up to date, literally to the minute.
Well, if you drop a Mercedes, a Lincoln, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I shouldn't talk about just high-end cars, any car. If they change a color, we change the color.
Isn't that great? Well, it's nice to be, like I say, that's where you see some of these homemade jobs, and the one fender's just completely different shade, and you wonder how, because you know it's the same color, but it's not. That's the difference.
Well, if you take a code to a jobber, he can make you the paint, but it's just going to be whatever formula. You have no way of changing it once it's in the can.
Oh,
we can change it all the way through.
Isn't that great?
And it's like a GPS. If you go over on something, it just recalculates and puts you back online. So you're not wasting paint.
Well, yeah, it's not like it's cheap, so that's great.
Well, and it's not even just the money, it's environmentally. You don't want any more of this stuff laying around than you need. It's, unfortunately, all the products we work with are dangerous. So
You want to make sure you use only what you need to use.
what you need to use and use them properly.
That's right. Well, that's great to be eco-friendly, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of stuff, but this is something that's really unique to Revell Ford Collision Center.
This is unique. This is, I hope, the future for us. When Ford introduced that the F-150 was going to aluminum, the Revells got in right away. There was no question. They want to stay in the repair game. They want to have a collision shop, and they want to give you the very best you can get. Right now, this is the very best you can get.
Show me this.
Aluminum vehicles need aluminum tools. You can't use steel tools on aluminum. All the tools that men need, rivets, welding, if they need.
They're all aluminum. Isn't that cool?
When they're clamping new panels on structures, you need aluminum.
All the clamps have to be aluminum.
All the clamps have to be aluminum.
All the hammers.
Everything.
Wow.
Everything has to be aluminum. You cannot cross-contaminate between aluminum and steel.
Wow.
And that's what all this equipment is for. When you get down to working, you have to work in an isolated area, and you actually, this equipment here is to take whatever is around the vehicle, clean it.
That's
So
just a
when
vacuum?
That's just a huge vacuum.
To keep all that aluminum and keep the metal away.
Whatever you're taking off the surface of an aluminum vehicle gets caught, cleaned up every day, and disposed of properly.
Isn't that wild?
It's not just gone in the air, swept up and thrown in the garbage.
And that's the thing. The average person might think that, I mean, you just use your normal tools and you got aluminum, big deal. It's maybe a little different paint or primer to make it stick. It's a whole different animal.
It's a whole different animal.
Wow.
And of course, you know, Ford F-150 isn't the only aluminum vehicle. The Europeans have been using it for years and years. We're set up. You know, it doesn't have to be a Ford F-150.
Wow.
Now with the Ford F-150 though, because we bought into the Ford program, we have all the clamping fixtures. These are all aluminum. So whatever's touching the aluminum or the aluminum vehicle is aluminum itself. There's no cross-contamination. And that's huge.
So these are all just...
These are all fixtures for clamping the vehicle to that bench behind us.
Isn't that crazy?
So that when we're pulling and restoring things to the proper dimensions, this is how you do it. You check it with that. The vehicle doesn't move.
So you got the rack that has to have aluminum everything attached to it. Then when you're straightening anything out, you got aluminum hammers. You've got to vacuum up the aluminum. You've got aluminum clamping systems for the hand clamps, and it's just a whole procedure.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
The painters actually today have two sets of sanders. They sand some stuff with steel. They sand aluminum vehicles with aluminum. Wow. So they don't cross-contaminate from their sandpapers.
Oh my goodness.
From any dirt that would get up inside the sander while you're sanding.
Wow.
I
had no idea. And this is pretty neat. These are all just jigs.
They're all jigs. It goes together like whatever portion you have to pull, wherever your repair is, if you're sectioning, you have to hold the rest of the vehicle square. This is the equipment to do it for an F-150.
Yeah, and that's just for one make of vehicle. Wow.
If you had, say, a Honda or an Audi or something like that, body shops, not just us, any body shop can access the jigs to tie them down and do the same repair. It doesn't have to be an F-150.
So that's the nice part. Not only are you the only, as far as I know, F-150 aluminum repair facility in the area, in a very big area. What area was it you said?
It's between Ottawa and Whitby.
Ottawa and Whitby. But also you can access the jigs to do it all. And because you got all of the other stuff other than just the jigs for the F-150, you've got hammers and vacuums and everything set. It really gives you some options.
And welding, of course, is really important.
Of course it is.
And a lot of people aren't aware that Honda isn't steel. It's actually a silicon mix. Huh. This machine is good for that, for aluminum, steel. So the technician just keeps rolling along. If he was doing a car that had a mixture of different alloys in the unit body and needed to put a few spot welds in, as soon as he touches the button, it goes to silicon, puts it down, wants to put an aluminum on, as soon as he touches the button, he's not stopping.
Wow.
And most of the equipment in a body shop is so that the car keeps moving. You buy a car because you want a car. This is the last place you want them because you know what's happening. We restore them, and the industry has come leap years ahead in technology and the training and everything that goes with it. But the faster it gets out of here, the better it is for everybody.
And that's the nice part with having all the proper equipment and being prepared for just about anything. Not only can you get the job done quickly, but you get it done right.
Yeah.
And that's the key. That's the holy grail. That's what
Yes.
everybody wants.
Yeah.
And the other thing I noticed is that this equipment looks like it's literally brand new.
Actually, we've been using it.
Have you been?
Yeah.
You haven't used it a whole lot. I mean, I know you've been, but it's not like it's 10 years old or whatever. This is cutting edge stuff.
Well, this is very expensive equipment, so
Yeah.
you're not going to treat it something like you bought 10 years ago. You
No.
really have to treat it with respect because of the outlay that collision centers have to put.
Well, that's just it. I mean, Bob, with your experience and all the years you've got in here, and you've got good staff here, I know you got a lot of veteran staff, and you got a nice shop, and you're attached to a Ford building, and there's a certain standard that you want with that. It gives you that edge that you're that much better than what the average would be. You're shooting for above average, and that's all you deliver. That's all I've ever heard.
Everybody wants it. I mean, the beautiful thing about here is it's tradition. Revell's been here since 1936. They've made a commitment to the collision, industry, and they're staying right on it. We're not waiting to see what happens. There's a lot of shops that are waiting to see how far this F-150 goes. Maybe it's a flash in the pan, but the Revells didn't take it that way. When they heard it was, they jumped in. Let's get the equipment. Let's keep our customers and new customers. Let's keep them happy and
good.
safe.
Well, that's the truth. Well, thanks, Bob.
Yep.
Well, Bob, thanks a lot. We're outside now where it's a little bit cooler. My Lord, it's hot in there.
Well, and the guys can get back to work. They actually stepped out of the way while we were filming inside the shop. The cars that are in there, they got to get delivered, got to get repaired. So yeah, we all got to get back to work.
Well, I'll let you get back to work, Bob. Again, thank you very much for the tour. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Rob.
And that's our little tour of the Revell Ford Collision Center. Take care, Bob.
You bet.